Sinclair.
Thank you very much. That's right. Thank you very much. God, you're a wonderful sight, I must say. Give yourselves a round of applause here. Yes, we did this. There's a couple of things to do right away. The first thing is, when we phoned up the Washington Federation of Labor and the Oregon Federation of Labor and said, let's meet at the border, they said, we'll be there. So thank you for coming up and joining with us today and being there. Thank you. I also want to say that, as you know in the labor movement, that nothing happens because people like me say so. It happens because working people and organizers go out there and do that. So let me thank all of the staff of the unions and the organizers who put us here today and made this possible. Thank you very much. I also have a special thanks for a group of workers who got us here today, and that's all the bus drivers who drove the bus for free today to show their solidarity. Thank you, CW, and thank you, bus drivers. You know, we hear a lot about the labor movement and what we're about. We hear about the money we have, we hear about the resources we have, we hear about the fights we put up. But to me, the most precious thing is what we have here today. It's really what they do want to destroy. It's not about money, really, or resources. What they want to destroy is the most precious thing the labor movement has. That precious thing is our solidarity with each other as human beings and working people. That's what this is about. Those folks in power hate that solidarity. They don't like us. They don't like working people, but they really hate it when we have power because we have solidarity. And that's what this is about. And in Wisconsin, they're breaking the labor movement to destroy collective bargaining. They're attacking the very things that we have fought for years and years and years to win. But they're not just attacking working people, because who stands up for public education? Who stands up and fights for health care? Who fights against poverty and for justice and equality? It's the labor movement. We are leading that charge. We are leading that charge, and I want to say to the people of Wisconsin, thank you for your unity. Thank you for rejecting private sector versus public sector, people of color versus other people, young people versus old people. You've united, and so will we, because we can't be beaten when we're united. People say to me, oh, it's Wisconsin, Jim. It's way over there. What's it got to do with us? We're in British Columbia. What's it got to do with us? Everything. No, you know, in British Columbia, we know. We know what anti-union governments look like. We got one. We watched our government tear up collective agreements and fire 5,000 women healthcare workers. We watched them roll back the rules so that workers couldn't get a union without being fired anymore in this province. Oh, but Gordon Campbell's gone. Yeah, that's good news. Yeah. But the truth is, Christy Clark is back. Do you think she's different? I was really discouraged to see that when she sat down with all the people that elected her in her little party there, and she picked the people that she wanted to help her be a premier, she picked Gwen Morgan. Now you say, who is that guy? Well, let me tell you, Gwen Morgan is one of the richest business people in the country. But what does he say about unions and about public sector unions? He says our wages are outrageous. Our pension plans are gold-plated. And when he talks about Wisconsin or he talks about labor rights, he says unions shouldn't have the right to collect dues. Unions shouldn't have the right to strike. So when people say to me, what's Wisconsin got to do with us? It's got everything to do with us. And Christy Clark, if you take his advice and you start doing that in this province, then let me tell you, these streets will be full for miles and miles and miles, because we're not going backwards. We have an election in Canada. Some guy named Stephen Harper wants to be the Prime Minister with a majority. Let me say loud and clear, Stephen Harper with a majority is our Wisconsin. Let there be no doubt about that. That his majority will be anti-union, anti-worker, anti-public service, and anti-country. He will sell us out in a flash. So we can't let him do that. Stephen Harper cannot get a majority in this country in the next month, and we have to make sure that doesn't happen, right? You know, the other thing they do in this debate, people like Stephen Harper, Christy Clark, Gordon Campbell, Scott Walker, all a bunch of them, they tell you we have no money. Oh my God, the cupboard is bare.
25 million for fighter jets.
Exactly, folks. So what we've been told is a lie. The lie is that we keep giving tax cuts to corporations and we keep telling ordinary folks we can't afford to pay for schools and hospitals. This is upside down. We have to say to governments of all stripes, you cannot cut taxes. You have to increase them on the corporations and fund human services and public needs. That's what this is about. $24 billion for fighter planes in Canada and no money for daycare. $24 billion for fighter planes and no money for post-secondary education. $24 billion for fighter planes and no money for health care. We say to you, we don't need fighter planes. We need a war against poverty and want, not a war against people. This will not be over today, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming today. I know all of you will walk out of here knowing that our job isn't finished, that this is a long struggle. It started years and years and years ago with people like us who said they'd had enough, and they fought for everything we got. And let's never forget that, sisters and brothers. No one, not one single person gave us one thing we didn't fight for. Not one thing. And we have to keep fighting for everything that we have. Everything that we have to keep fighting for to keep. And I say to ourselves, are we ready for that? Yeah! Are you willing to fight? Yeah! And we have to lead that fight so that we can win this battle because we can't lose. Yeah! Martin Luther King was a hero to most of us. Yeah! He said some amazing, amazing things. He talked about what human beings could really be. He talked about what our countries could really be if we put our minds to it and built those countries on solidarity and respect for each other. He also said a lot of things, and one of them I remember. He said that there comes a time in history, there comes a moment in our time when it's our turn. And you can't turn around and say it's your turn, or it's somebody else's turn, it's just our turn. And let me tell you, sisters and brothers, I'm ready for our turn, because I've had enough. I have to try this. I gotta try this because it's just too good, okay? I just can't leave without trying it. We are! We are! We are!